Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another Last Epoch dev stream. As usual, I'm your host, Mike. Hi, hello, how are you? I'm wonderful. Thanks for asking. We're just gonna hop right in. We're playing our Lich Girl still, and really enjoying it. Especially since splitting the cooldowns on Reap, what we get when we perform, and Transplant. And we did just move up a little bit of to a higher level area than we probably should. We're 75 and we're in the 90, so you know we'll see how things go. Do my best. But the real reason I'm here is to answer questions for you. So if anyone has any questions they'd like to ask, I'd love to answer them. You can put at Last Epoch Game in the question. I'll know you want me to answer it. And as a note, just as always, we stream for charity. We're repping a new charity. Well, we're back to a previous one, but we really like them, so we're back on Child's Play. And that's where all the everything from the stream goes. Yeah. Split. It's okay. Still got him. Did we have some daylight savings shuffling happening there? It looks like maybe that hasn't happened yet, though. I don't think. I don't know. It happens in different parts all over the world. Different times. I'm really, I know this is like sort of a almost cruel thing to say. Oh my god. That's what I get. I even think about it and the game's just like, nuh-uh. Nuh-uh. We're just gonna go right back into that one. I am really excited to start being able to share some things, hopefully soon. Because there's some really cool things coming down the pipe. There's a lot of features that I know people have been asking for a long time. A lot of things that I've been like internally people have been asking for a long time, like tools that designers want, and you know, all sorts of cool stuff that we're like, finally we can do these things we've wanted to do for years. And so we're just getting early versions of that in now, and hopefully it will sustain us in our quest for ever increasing amount of content. Oh, what do we got here? Oh, don't hit that. But he said something interesting. If there's something I like, I like getting some things from the crowd, from the audience when we're working on a patch like this. And I guess I'm curious if there's any specific like gaps, big gaps in like weapon theming. So like, oh, there's no, I played a lot of WoW and Wrath, and I would love to have a frozen sword to be able to use, you know, something like that. Oh, was there a question I missed? Sorry. Frozen. Hi, Mike. Hi. How's it going? Thank you for the sub there. Congratulate. Love it. Appreciate you. Thanks for being here. Ooh, we got a Harbinger Nemesis around. Hey Mike, in regards to item acquisition / ease of gear progression, what metrics do you use to determine what is reasonable? People seem to feel the more is always better, but I imagine you have some benchmark to prevent infinite power creep. Yeah, I mean, there's we don't have a fixed formula where it's like, oh, if they're hitting certain points by certain levels and certain time invested, that there's a problem and things like that. A lot of this comes down to feel, I think. And a lot of it requires massaging the numbers to hit a specific feel that you're looking for, I think. I mean, not terrible getting a little bit of crit multi on there, yeah. The necrotic damage, nice. A lot of resistances we don't really need. Yeah, I might. Yeah. Not really much use. That's fine. So I think with regards to having the like the power progression rates be something that we're happy with is a tricky line to walk, and something that we struggle with. Struggles about something that we invest considerable amount of resources into having that feel really good, because it's a really important thing. And I think sometimes this comes up when when you look at certain mechanics that might seem a little weird, that they are maybe less free, less open, and maybe a little bit more restrictive. And quite often the reason why it's like that is because of exactly what you're bringing up here. And so I think a good example of that is the way that empowered monoliths unlock on alt characters. And sort of like the reason why we've been a little bit hesitant to just straight up unlock everything as like a shared unlock is because of the like progression curves being too fast in some cases, because you can end up in situations where you get overwhelmed really easily on a character, and then that just feels like, oh, it's just a bad character and you give up on it before it's had the really chance to shine, things like that. There's a lot of fine-tuning on a lot of these things. I think that there's also, I think this is it's sort of like it's a huge topic. I'm just gonna ramble on this for hours if I could. I think there's a lot to dig into as well when you're looking at the maximum potential of a character. And I think a lot of that comes down to like, what's technically possible versus what's reasonable, and the relative power in each like step up to that point. So like you want a character that says, okay, well, like without too crazy amounts of time investment, you want it to be able to hit a corruption X eventually type thing, and you want there to be these thresholds that you get along the way where you're saying like, okay, well, now I finished my regular monoliths, then into empowered monoliths, and like there's a threshold there's a bit of a jump. You want that to be like an achievement getting to that next stage. There's that like, okay, well, this is the first time I'm eventually taking on a Harbinger, and oh, this is the first time I'm taking on Aberoth. This is the first time hitting a T4 dungeon. There's these benchmarks that you really want people to hit and to ideally initially struggle with, but only briefly. So I think that's the key thing, is you want people to hit these points, have a moment of like, oh, I need more power, have the resources to and like reasonableness of time investment required to get that power and to make the upgrade. And I think that's really the tricky part, is spacing those, like, hey, I need to make an upgrade, and time it takes to actually get that upgrade. Spacing those out properly is the real trick. And we're always looking to make, there's a lot of fine-tuned adjustments that happen most major patches actually in that category. So like for example, we just added like the glyph of envy and a lot of the catch-up mechanics around the shade spawning just right at the edge of right at the front, in order to catch up for timelines that have a lot higher corruption. So I think there's like, we're trying to build tools in to do that in a thematic way, an interesting way, and convenient way, but not having it be too fast. And And I think it's a lot easier to make it faster from a player perspective than it is to make it slower. So we've been a little bit cautious of certain things like this, and I think that I think there's still room to speed things up a little bit, but not a crazy amount. Ooh. Okay, well, we put a portal in like the worst spot ever, so we're gonna put another one down to replace it, which caused us to pop out of form, which means we're probably gonna die. I think. Reaper Form activate. Of course, you want to fight directly on top of that. All right, we got more questions that I'm going to start answering here in a moment. Are there plans on updating the roadmap for 1.2, or do you guys not currently know what's happening? Going to be able to do so. Yeah, there are. I've seen a. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I have seen some like prototype options for roadmap updates. So I know people are working on like another infographic roadmap style. I don't know when we're going to get that exactly, but that type of communication I think is really important. It's and I mean, we're seeing some of the issues with it right now, in the sense that we made one, and like stuff changes pretty quickly. It's one of the things about our studios. We are pretty, and it's not in the programming sense, but in the just general sense, we are pretty agile. I mean, we do agile stuff as well, but there's a whole other term there, but it doesn't matter. So the point is that like we do change things on the fly quite a bit, of like in response to feedback, in response to new ideas people have. There's a lot that happens pretty quickly, and having a roadmap that reaches far into the future can leave you open to having to change that roadmap. And people set expectations and things like that, which is tricky, because you want to uphold those expectations, but at the same time you want to just do whatever's best for the game, right? So yeah, we've had to deviate from that roadmap, which we've said before, but yeah, we are deviating from the roadmap that was posted, and I'd like to get a new version out as soon as possible. Maybe going like one fewer patches forward in time might be smart on that, but we'll see. Snatch some of this stuff away. Boom, 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 boom. Tab is full. Ah! Call it A2. Here. Armor. Still with the U. Love it. Exalted. Let's confirm. Perfect. First try. Yeah, we got some of this. Let's grab a little more power. More power. Reaper form. What are we getting? 4 points in that. Is that all we're missing? 4 points in this. I think we just want the damage. Yep, want that. Sorry, I know this is super exciting, but you get to see my build. I'm totally not just copying off someone else, I swear. Here we go, kill threshold, yes. That's desperately what we need. We want another point in that at some point. And we're coming down here, I think. Yeah, armor show chance. Beauty! Get another one of these. We're coming in, I think here, I just like the crit multi. Give me that. Give me that damage. Damage. Love it. All right, more questions. I should know better. Oh yes, okay. It's just repeat ask. Frozen, you are forgiven. It's okay. Hey Mike, since I lost everything in the gold dupe of 2024. Oh no. Naughty boy. It's okay. Let's see what's the rest of this question. I found a job cleaning up the COF players' tiers that collect around the Eternity Cache. Do you have anything you can share about the new dungeon mechanics? There's the dungeon mechanics themselves as far as like new dungeons coming in. I don't have any info or anything like that. You know, like we're really focusing on the play experience leading up to the end of dungeons. So you know, like I think one of the key points of feedback we get around dungeons are the it's like exalted still. I think one of the key pieces of feedback we get around dungeons are the is how little fun it is to actually like move through the zone because it is because the blockers are frustrating to deal with, right? And so, you know, we've been trying to find a way to do proper procedural generation such that there's that this issue with the blockers is, you know, not there. Yeah, a couple glyphs of envy. Nice. Let's just grab stuff. Hey, I like stuff. More stuff. Ooh. Stuff that's saying it's good. Yeah, so yeah, focusing on that, like that first stage, the gameplay experience of that first stage in dungeons, I think is going to really help us out, just to make the dungeons experience more fun, and that's technology that can be applied in other places in the game as well. I'd also really like to start expanding more dungeons. I've got a couple ideas for dungeons that I want to implement still. You know, it's a really good place to stick unique rewards, things that you don't want to build into an entire system, or you don't want to tie it to like a mechanic out in the world, but you also don't want to tie it to an item specifically. There's a lot of really great things that having rewards at the end, specific rewards at the end of a dungeon does. So I'm looking forward to having better dungeon technology so we can make more dungeons again. I don't think I think like it'll be fix the dungeons we have first and then future updates more dungeons. I think is more likely what'll happen. Keep going, charge forward. All the damage reflection. All right, more questions. How is the engine upgrade going? Great. We're fully switched over internally. I think we're done releasing content on the old one. Means the feature branch got merged back into main, which is great. Means we can work faster again. Less paperwork. I love less paperwork. It's all these hidden costs. Like you think you're doing an upgrade like that, but the version that's still live. So we need to do the version. We need to do the upgrade early enough that people that we catch any weird random regression bugs. So like regression bugs are things like, well, for the longest time let's say the wall that you break in the cave at the very start of the game to get the veteran's boots. It's this like little bit of out of the way feature, you know, it's something that you don't check every time you play through the game necessarily. Ooh. And it's kind of this silly little extra feature, right? That maybe you just don't, there's no point in checking it because it's just there. It's worked for years, you know. And then you do an upgrade like this, and you forget to check it, and time goes on, and there's this wall that's worked forever, and it just doesn't work because no one's checked it in a while, and then people start trying to do it, and it doesn't work, and it's this like it's a regression bug that pops up, you know, things like that. So we really want, we have checked it, don't worry. We really wanted enough time to catch things like that, which is why we internally switched over as soon as possible after the major patch. And then what that means is you have to then maintain a second development branch for the old version to do things like updates to the event when the event ended, and any bug fixing for like major issues that are live. And it's a completely different version of Unity on your computer, which means you need to like you got to set aside a couple, and I say this literally, a couple hundred extra gigs of space in order to have a 2021 and a 2019 version. And it's like it takes away a developer from the team working on the new stuff to maintain the old stuff, and it's like almost like you're maintaining two different games for a little while. And so there's like this is all part of this like hidden costs of upgrading game engines that we've been talking about. Like it seems like it's pretty straightforward and you should just be able to do it, right? But it's these like extra little random costs that you never think about until it's like, you know, like quote unquote too late. Luckily we did think about these things and had plans for it, and that's why it was happened so early, because there's some really great people on the team that thought of these things, because I would not have thought of them. Oh, so much damage! Oh, I was already, oh my goodness. Yeah. I almost want that health bar to turn gray when you're in reperform. Right? Where are those boots? Yeah, look at those boots! Like, I found some boots! What do I do with those? We want to try and get a CDR suffix on there if we can. So let's try and seal the LE-res. Okay. Put me over here for a second. We're gonna try a little craft on this, see what happens. But we're gonna try and seal the LE-res, I think, because we want to get CDR on it. Oh no. Not what we wanted. Critical success is nice. T5 going, movement speed is nice. You know, like preserve the forge potential. No. Still like no forge potential to use. Okay, come on, last try. Dang it. Okay, so now do we take the intelligence off? What other prefixes could we put on in place of intelligence if we wanted to? Like vitality. Is that kind of it? That's kind of it, isn't it? I still think we try to seal the vitality, the intelligence. But we want more of it though. Really frustrating that LE-res didn't seal. Vitality's always nice. I don't really need it that much. I'm wondering if just more intelligence is more valuable. Probably just more intelligence. We may just go with nothing sealed in this one. We'll up it once, and then we'll try and seal for high. It's T3 seal. Okay, it's not the end of the world. Vitality. This is probably not optimal. T4. You know what? I'm generally pretty pleased with that. Do we want to try and get a higher roll on anything? That health could use a higher roll, and that's really the most important thing. Which one is it? Affixes within their tiers, re-rolling. Health went up. It's all that matters. I'm very pleased with. I feel like I want to re-roll it one more time. I think I'm gonna use it on this the last piece on the vitality, and if it goes up with a critical success or with with this working, the glyph of hope working, then we're gonna re-roll it again, I think. But for now, those are just going on. I think we do this little CDR for evade, not a big deal. We don't use that often. There's a little int, little armor, but we get ward decay threshold, which we don't actually use. We do get a ton of health from this though, which is great. That's nice. Overall, Mike is pleased. You might slam those into something later. We'll see. All right. This is a good pickup. Chris Farley style agile. Yeah, there you go. Nice. All right. The holy and the necrotic together, it feels wrong. But it works. Right. More questions. Here we go. You mentioned you guys are working on better controller support with targeting, and it's a far ways out. Can you share any controller features coming in the next patch season 2? Yeah, like the stuff we're working on is coming in the next patch season 2. It won't. So the way we're building it is, we built a new. It's not fully finished yet. It's not merged in, but we're almost done building a new way of assigning individual targeting systems for individual skills in individual modes for controllers. So like instead of just basically every ability targeting exactly the same way, they'll be like, hey, this lightning blast is different than whirlwind, maybe they should target differently, you know? And warpath, sorry, not whirlwind. And so there's and then there's also different abilities. Abilities can change the way they need to be targeted based on the nodes they're taking as well. So we're adding in ways for that to update on the fly. And we still need to like go through every single ability and every single method for modifying those abilities in ways that could cause them to change how they are that could change how they are targeted. So there's a lot of little work to do, and there's a lot of things that are going to I think we probably won't get every single one of them exactly right on the very first try. So we're going to need to get feedback on like, hey, the when you take X node and Y tree along with this one, you don't actually want it to target in front of you. You want it to target behind you. So we got to update, you know, weird things like that. So there's going to be a lot of things. This is a cool item. There's gonna be some pieces to that puzzle that are going to evolve over time. So it's not just going to be a hey, it's fully finished immediately. But we are working on that, making a list of all the places that the abilities can be changed to catch as many of these as we can right off the bat. Cool. A chunk there. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff based on targeting with controller. I think it's the main thing. You know, we're also doing like just bug fixing for like, oh hey, this menu, it should auto select this one first, and you know, oh, there needs to be a new hotkey button in this context menu to make it a smoother experience. You know, little things like that we're looking at for controller support improvements. Fine tuning. I think controller support's actually fairly decent right now. You know, there's some places where it's a little clunky still, and that's where we're really targeting to make improvements. And I think the clunkiest part right now is targeting of specific situations where abilities do not line up with the default targeting nicely. Alright, we need to get out of here. XP. So underleveled. We need to level up so fast. It's frustrating too because there's a lot of these that I waited on. It's a lot of damage. It's just sitting on the table. Not that one so much, but these three are the ones that I'm putting points into right now, and there's a lot of damage just sitting on the table on my passives. Alright, since the next cycle is still a few months away, would you buff some underperforming skills and uniques? I think it's unlikely that we're going to have a big buff patch between now and like a big balance patch in general. It wouldn't just be a straight buff patch. But I think it's very unlikely that we'll do a big balance patch in like, I don't know, the next few weeks or something like that. It's quite a bit. This is part of what I was talking about earlier with having like split teams on the engine upgrade. Is you can't, like, we're trying not to maintain two versions of the game at the same time. It slows down development of content. You know, like if there's a major bug, we'd fix it, obviously. Hopefully, obviously. But yeah, I don't think there's gonna be. I doubt it. I don't want to say a hard no because you never really know, but I'd be really surprised. Right. Oh, what's this? What's this? What's this? Pressing the right keys helps. Hey Mike, as far as I know, EHG is trying to release seasons in a time frame outside of your competitor's release in the ARPG genre. In general, yes, where we can, yes. If we're given the choice, if we're like, hey, there's these 2 dates that we've got that are really good for us to release on, and let's say they're a month apart, and one of them's the same day that PoE is going to release a season, and the other one is a month after or a month before. You know, like, we're going to pick the one, like, all other things being equal, we're going to pick the one that's, you know, away from theirs release. I do know where this question's going. Just answered it in Discord, so I will answer it again. Just gonna make sure I don't die here first. Let's read it out properly, though. As far as I know, EHG is trying to release seasons in a time frame outside of your competitors' releases in the RPG genre. Now that I have seen that GGG is planning to push PoE 1's next season to Q1 2025, I'm a little worried what EHG will do with the release of Season 2 for LE. Can you elaborate a little bit about this? I haven't heard any information of anything changing at all. kind of the short version. You know, like the options are, well, we don't actually know when it's going to be. So we don't know the exact date. Q1 2025, there's 3 months there. So like the two of us could be targeting completely different points in that 3-month period. And it's totally fine. There's nothing to worry about type thing, you know? That's scenario 1. Scenario 2 is we've targeted basically the same spot. And we're going to overlap. And it's probably on us to get out of the way. If we're talking about who's got more market pull available to them. And so then our options are like try and release earlier if we find out when the exact date is early enough that we can do that. Tons of problems with that, namely in just that if we're releasing it early, we're doing it either by cutting content or by skipping testing steps, which I know both of those things are like horrible propositions for almost everyone involved. You know, like, so I don't think that's super appealing for us. And then like the other option is delaying the content, you know, which I doubt many people want either, right? So we've kind of got to weigh what our best options are, how we're going to handle that, how close is the overlap, is there any overlap? You know, there's a lot of information we don't know, and a lot of information we do know that the public also doesn't know. So it's tricky to come up with the best answer to this, and it's even more tricky to answer this question. Because I can't really say anything, but as far as I know, nothing's changed from our plans for 1.2. At least not yet. Still desperately need a new weapon. That's our like. Sorry, that's our issue here. Need new weapon. Probably should like go do some buying and selling here. It'd probably help. Yeah, like we don't want to release at the same time as them. You know, I don't think it's good for anyone. It's not good for, like, let's start with the selfish reasons. It's not good for us because I want to play it, and I can't play it if I'm, you know, if we're releasing around the same time. I'm focusing on ours, not theirs, and you know I want some time to play theirs too. So there's the selfish reason not to overlap, and then we know a lot of players like to play both, and you know, we also don't want to be competing with them for people's eyeballs. That was close. Those new boots saved me. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Whoops. Sorry about that, everyone. How much of that did you miss? Realized I was muted. My bad. Okay, well, I don't think I said too much there. What did I say? I said the name of the next patch. I said the release date. I said all the key features. And nothing important, it's fine. I'm sure you'll find out eventually. Sorry. What I was just mentioning was that I was just reading Adrian, I think, his comment on the roadmaps here. Which I thought was insightful. I think one of the reasons we like to do roadmaps is so that people can plan ahead. People, especially people who are, you know, like content creators who are a huge part of the Last Epoch ecosystem, and you know, help you know, get information out to people, and you know, help just drive hype on the game sometimes. Is as simple as that, you know. And it's I say simple as that, it's a huge part of it, but having information that they can plan out on what they're going to do in the future, I think is useful for them too. So it's not just for us, it's not just for people playing, but also people who are, you know, partners, and people who are doing things at the same time, other content creators. And those things hurt so much. Is my poison res just terrible? Nope. Actually half decent. Alright, get over here, your silly little run. Stuff. Yeah, I love stuff. Maybe. It's a weapon. It's a two-handed weapon. Alright, I have a specific question about Runemaster. Does Frostwall Runic Detonation inherit Frostwall's Frostbite chance? I would have to look that up. Let's see if we can figure it out. Frostwall Runic Detonation. Detonation. In Frostwall Detonation. Frostwall now creates 3 runic detonations shortly after you pass through it, dealing spell cold damage to nearby enemies. This effect does not destroy the wall. Yeah. Runic detonations can be converted to fire with the pyroglass. Yeah. Yeah, these are created by the wall itself, I believe. Should be an indirect cast for the wall itself. Yeah, it only has references in Frostwall. Yeah, this is an inherited skill. It'll get frostbite chance unless it says specifically, like, let's see how they're worded in Frostwall. Frostbite is worded as frostbite chance every second. So the frostbite chance every second does nothing. And these are just conversions. I don't see any frostbite chance that would work with that. Unless there's another note I'm missing. If it had frostbite chance from like a wand or something like that, yeah, it would work. Is there frostbite chance on wands? Probably not, actually. There might be on gear somewhere. The unique. And I'm just seeing if there's a way we can make this happen. Frostbite. On hit with cold spells. Adorned idol. Yes, there's an idol that you can do it with. Oh yeah, and there's an affix that works with it too. So yeah, the item affixes work. Yeah. Also, frostbite shackles would work too. But that's kind of irrelevant if it's inherited or not, because if it's not inherited, then you'd have those stats anyways, so kind of 6 of one, half dozen of the other. An arena. Let's get a question. Possibly just die right off the bat. Alright, any plans to add additional means of scaling minion damage? Also, happy Friday. I like, not specifically just minion damage in general, but like, there's all sorts of situations where individual minions get new scaling things and new abilities get new scaling things. That's a common thing that gets added to the game in general. Not necessarily specifically minions in general, but like, abilities get new scaling factors if they're not doing enough damage. Do you plan to do a PTR for the next season launch? Feels like a bit too much bug to get. Feels like a little bit too much bug get past QA, and maybe we can help track them down. P.S. You seems tired. You know how to work yourself in the teams for us. Ouch. I'm tired because I am a young father. Not the game, I think, at this point. But yeah, fair enough. Yes, we do have a PTR. Oh, it's not PTR, it's PTR because it's private, not public. But yes, we do have a community tester program that we run. I don't know if we're opening up more spots to it right now or not, but we do run a community tester program and have for years now, and are continuing to run it. I think there's a build that's going out to them sometime kind of soon, actually, for new 1.2 content. This is what I mean. We're testing stuff early, right? Come on, Lich Form, come back up. There we go. Damage just skyrockets and survivability just skyrockets and... The last thing is the last one. Like, I know, I'll get out ahead of this. Is this anything? Not really. I mean, it's not bad. We might be able to forge that into something that increased physical damage. We do mostly necrotic. I kind of want to just chaos this into something. See if we just get lucky. Melee cold damage. I don't hate just having like another flat damage there. All attributes is nice. Armor shred is nice. Let's go with armor shred. Oh, I was considering rolling that. That's too bad. In that case, let's go all the way. Call it a day. It says it's a little late on upgrade. I love the way it looks. We're rolling with it. Let's see what happens. What's the worst that could happen, right? Any plan to add a way to restore some fortune potential to bricked items? No, we've. This is one of those things that's really tricky. We've tried to build in ways to do this several times, and it's never been something we've managed to find a way to do. I've pitched many different ways doing something like this, and it never works out nicely. Did our attack speed just go way up? Feels like our attack speed just went way up. Feels great. What is this button? Are there any plans for skins and MTX for the Echo of a World map area between echoes? I mean, that's really cool. Yeah, that's something that was pitched a little while ago that I love the idea of, because it almost would act like a hideout in a sense, but wouldn't be like out of the way, which I think is the big problem with most hideouts. Especially when you're playing with friends, it'd be a really natural progression to show it off, because it would just sort of like happen whenever you're the host. And I think it also makes a lot of sense to do it there because of like lore reasons. So yeah, I'm a big fan of that idea. I don't think we have anything specifically planned for it right now. Yeah, look at that envy. Oh, that's a big hit. Try not to die. Get all of these that we want. I tell people not to stop to pick things up when there's enemies around. I do the exact same thing. Okay, let's go this way. How do you feel about more quality of life into the game? Things like auto loot, partial respec of passives, etc. Partial respec of passives. You do that already? I think that some things that I have a bone to pick with the term quality of life. I really do not like that term. I know it's so pedantic and like pointless to go off on it, but like every once I feel like I haven't ranted about quality of life in a while. It's one of those terms that I think it has like intrinsic properties to the term quality of life. Like, why would you not want to make the quality of my life better? It's sort of the feeling of like of course everything that gets labeled quality of life has to go in because it's just mean to not put it in. It's sort of like the vibe I get from the term quality of life. That's why I'm not a big fan of the term in general. And I think there's a lot of terms. I think there's a lot of feature requests that get labeled as quality of life that are not quality of life, and I don't like that. I'm not a big fan. But yeah, I think that quality of life features are inherently great for players, and we love putting them in. We love getting them in, and improving the quality of life of our players playing the game. Like that's a no-brainer, awesome thing to do. Yeah. I think the line gets blurred really quickly as soon as you have things that actually make gameplay changes. And sometimes the things that get lost when quality of life features get implemented isn't always obvious right away. And I think it can be unfortunate when it actually takes something important away from the game. So I think it's a tricky conversation to navigate sometimes, but generally speaking, yeah, we love putting quality of life things in the game, and you know, there's lots of features that we discuss really frequently. You know, things like, for example, like a key inventory specifically, so you're not like organizing individual keys in your inventory manually, things like that. I would call that a quality of life update, and is the sort of thing that, you know, like we are targeting. Oh, I'm not popping out of form. That was so close. Was it auto loot? I think auto loot is one of those ones that I would not call quality of life. I think auto loot fundamentally changes the game for a lot of players, and I think it causes, I think it causes issues in, you know, like. I think I would enjoy this. It's different for a lot of people. This is why it's such a hard topic to talk about. But like, I think I would enjoy certain games less if they had auto loot. And I don't think that's always obvious to be able to see right away. And like I can actually think of an ARPG that had auto loot that I think was a huge problem. I think it was one of the like top 3 things I would change about that game, is that it had auto loot. I would turn it off. So much damage. Nice. Those explosions actually do decent damage. But yeah, if there's a feature you do want, and even if I'm talking about it like it's not going to happen or something like that, please still put that in, like feedback forums, suggestions forums, places that we collect information from players. It's all very important, and just because I say it's, you know, not something that's happening right now doesn't mean it'll never happen. And just because I say it's something that's like, I disagree that it's a quality of life feature, doesn't mean we're not going to put it in. I actually was considering wearing Falcon Fists on this build. Like, not quality of life doesn't mean not going in. Just means that we have to look at it from a gameplay perspective, that's all. Just the attack speed on this, really. It's kind of all that there is for me. But it is a good chunk of attack speed. And some extra fire damage. But, you know, who cares about that so much? We do have good attack speed on here already, actually. I forgot about that. I think we'll leave it. The leech, might as well. We have a little bit of foraging potential anywhere that we can eke out some extra. Here, there's a little bit of health. We'll take it. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Whole lot of nothing. I don't think there's any room for any upgrades yet. We're going that way. We're going this way. I think partial respec may have been mastery respec? Question mark? In that question? Which I would advocate, which I would say is not a quality of life thing, but I would still advocate for it. Hopefully that makes sense. more questions. Can you tease a little what stuff is coming for Sentinel? Sure. Here is a here's a node. Here's an upcoming node. This is we're far enough out that I'm going to put a little big asterisk beside this and say, you know, it could change, could be rebalanced, could be, you know, like numbers can fluctuate a little bit, but hopefully this will whet the appetite a touch. So when you jump forwards in time, all of your devouring orbs are pulled towards you, and it says trigger avoid. It's so tiny I cannot read it. Let's find another place where someone sent it to me. There we go. It's giant now. Trigger avoid. I can stand really far back and read it. But volatile reversal costs additional mana. So there's some stuff in there. If you're gonna try and figure out what all that means, go ahead. I'm not going to explain it exactly, but there's some stuff to speculate on in there if you want. I should hear them do this. Boom. I came prepared. Look, a version that sits in the corner ready to go. So I can keep playing. Let me know if it's completely illegible though. Stuff? I like stuff. Give me stuff. One day one of those stuff will be useful. Alright. Is the Gambler's Fallacy quest ever coming back so we can get the version, the amulet of the low level characters? I think that there's a decent chance we'll bring back that amulet accessible at lower levels. I don't think it will be through the same quest. Oh god. Like, I just can't stop attacking or I'm dead, probably. That was wild. Alright, what monster decided to make Traitor's Tongue a dagger instead of a one-handed sword? And why did they decide to hurt my feelings? Because they don't like you. No, I don't know. It's always tricky when there's an effect like that that you really want on a specific weapon type and it doesn't exist there. It's part of the puzzle though. Like, it's part of the, like, oh, you gotta find the best thing that fits, and is there a way to use the things that are there differently to make something new? Let's get out of here. Relic? A classic, to be sure. This is one of the oldest items in the game, I think. It's up there. Very old item. Alright. When can we buy $80 dino mounts in LE? Hopefully never. Any plan on adding wings as cosmetics? Desperately need one to satisfy a weird OCD in HNS. Oh, this is where I was muted. Oh no. I wonder how long I was muted for. BRB hiring lip reader. Wing cosmetics. Yeah, there's lots more cosmetics coming. I do not know if any of them are specifically like full-blown wings. But you know, it's something that gets asked often enough. I'd be surprised if no one was working on one. All right, we've got a question that's been repinged. I will find that. Oops. Oh, I just pinned something. Unpin. Unpin. Oh gosh. Mike, what are you doing? Unpin this message. Sorry. The like... Oh, okay, found it. It's just right above it. The button for the pin showed up right where I was trying to click. I swear it's my story. I'm sticking to it. That's what I thought. Also, Kane, how hard would it be for you guys to make skills interact with each other? Like, say I can say a tornado or whatever, and someone else casts chain lightning. How hard would that be for the tornado to pick up the chain lightning and become electrified? So this is, I talked about almost this exact scenario last week, which is crazy. I used fireball and tornado instead of chain lightning and tornado, because that was the first time we tried to do it, was fireball and tornado 6 years ago. And turns out it's really hard to do. We released our first skill interaction along those lines with the Rune Master update year and a half ago now. And like because you can shoot through the frost gate and the frost wall. I call it frost gate. Frost wall speeds up the projectile when it goes through. So that is the first interaction of that happening. I think one of the only ones in the game at the moment, actually. Having said that, I do want to add more. One of the issues is having those interactions work cross-player, so in multiplayer, which is the coolest way for them to happen, but we need to be careful and implement them in such a way that they don't leave the opportunity for griefing. Where you say like, hey, like, oh, you've got your fireballs out, and or you've got your tornadoes out, and they're doing physical damage, and if you like shoot lightning blasts at it, it turns into an electrified version, and the damage type changes, and you're no longer doing physical damage, and something stops triggering, and your whole build falls apart. So you almost need people to like opt into the interaction on both ends of it, like taking nodes that are like, oh yeah, this now works in this interaction with this other ability that other people can use, and if you're not in a multiplayer scenario, it does nothing. So you end up with these nodes that are only good in multiplayer. And you know, people are like, okay, well now I want to respec for going in and out of multiplayer. There's problems with it. I'd really love to resolve those problems. I don't know how to resolve those problems right now. So much attack speed. It feels so good. But yeah, I think in general, it's the style of thing that we are starting to explore a little bit more as we go. Because it is interesting. It's fun. It's cool. It's you look at the situation, it behaves really logically, which is great. Logically is not really the important part, but intuitively is, and often things that are logical are intuitive. So, you know, I'd love to. I don't think there's any major things in that category planned for 1.2 that I can think of off the top of my head. But if you've got one in particular that you're really interested in, you know, dropping that in the suggestions forums, great idea. There's definitely no one's looking around for ideas right now, and things really niche applications of skills. You know, it's definitely not something someone might be interested in at all right now. All right. Hey, any plans to provide more direct feedback to reported bugs or issues, statuses such as rejected no. Work in progress in review would be great. And to be honest, since I did not see anything in the release notes for some issues reported a while back, it feels like it just does not make sense to report bugs at all. This is one of those things that, like, generally speaking, no, we don't have any plans to do this. And I think it's one of those things that is probably underestimated in how much extra time and effort and work and just dev hours this eats up to do. And it's kind of like, would you prefer less things be fixed and us report on the, like, provide a tracking system for the things that are fixed, or do you just want the game to be better? It's sort of the options. Like, we can just make the game, we can just fix more things, or we can report on all the things that are fixed. And when there's like a really major issue, we do try and provide a little bit of extra feedback on those in context in patch notes and in patch previews and things like that. So we do try for the really big things. We do try and do that. But like an individual node that's bugged in a specific combination with another node or something like that, is the reach on something like that is so small that tracking it doesn't really have a big impact, except for the people that are actively trying to use it, which, yes, it does have a big impact for those people, but it's a small reach. And trying to do each one of those negatively impacts everyone, because other things aren't getting fixed because we're spending more dev hours on a public tracking system for it. So probably not. Alright, I'm wondering how hard it would be to create a fluent animations to make possible for a character to throw a spell while moving. For now, it's a bit weird when I'm spamming with spells and trying to move. I mean, every time the character stops in place. I should have looked at the screen. We do have those animations. They exist. In certain specific situations, but for the most part, it's like this is one of those things that it's not just an animation issue, it's a gameplay issue. Causing things to be usable at instant speed, i.e. while moving, causes them to be suddenly usable while channeling a movement ability, like actively using them in the middle of Warpath, for example. And also then it brings up issues of this is a big part of the like the WASD movement and the twin stick movement type control schemes that do change pretty heavily expectations for that to be present in most abilities, and also does change power level quite a bit as well. This is a good example of one of those things where it's like, oh, it's a quality of life thing. It's a pretty big gameplay change. I know you didn't use the term quality of life, but I think it's a similar issue, similar categorization. Oh, here we go. All right, we got more questions rolling in. I got more answers coming out. Who knows if they're right? Sell all button when? Unlikely. The potential for people to just sell things that they really wanted to keep is so high with a sell all button. And we don't really want to, and it has the downside, and this is going to sound ridiculous, it has the downside of incentivizing people picking up more stuff. Because it removes friction from the selling action, which causes people to pick up more things, which we actually don't want people to pick up more things in general. Not substantially anyways. Alright. What would be a better way to describe quality of life feature? Yeah. Well, that's the thing is I don't think there's a better way to describe a quality of life feature, but I think that there are better ways to describe features that might feel like they're quality of life but aren't. And it's just a gameplay feature. I think, yeah, there's quality of life. I think there's like quality of life and like a gameplay feature is something that is it changes gameplay. You know, it's a I don't know how else to describe it. Yeah. How do you feel about the state of trading is? I feel like the one trade limit on an item takes way too many items out of the economy. Yeah, I think it's a tricky situation. We definitely considered having like a limit, like, oh, this item can be traded like 4 times and having that be a property of the item when it drops. Which isn't impossible to do, but the simplicity factor in just one is really good. I think we're in a bit of we're in a lull right now, and I think as the population size, as the player population size drops, it's more advantageous to have items stick in the economy longer. But when we're in a high player activity time, having those items come out of the economy is really healthy for it. So it's possible that, like, you know, I think it's one of those things, as we get more data, as we get more information, you know, we might make adjustments to it, but we're pretty happy overall with it, I think, right now. Alright, have you ever done player tests on auto loot of shards and seen if the experience was better or not? I don't think we've ever done a public playtest with something like that implemented. We've definitely tested it internally, and it's also one of those things that's really hard to, I think, tell if something's being taken away from the game, because it is a very subtle thing. I'm really trying to say this in a way that I'm not actually pushing for one thing or the other. But I just think that's an example of a thing that gets requested as a quality of life feature frequently that I don't think is a quality of life feature, regardless of if it's good or bad. I think it's one of those things that, like, basically every game feature is, it depends on context a lot. Like, there's features where in certain games they don't work, and in other games they do work, which is part of the reason why you can't just, like, look at another game and say, hey, I like that feature, I'm going to put it in my game, because quite often it won't work that way. Here we go. Chunk, chunk, chunk. Attack speed buff is so nice. Hey, Dreamthorn. We don't hate those. They're fun. They're cool. Taste of blood. Alright, let's fill up this stash. Alright, any plans on more micro communications? Feel like there's a lot of these questions you already thought about internally, and you might be tired to answer them. There's more micro communications. Like, just like little posts. I mean, you don't want to think, you don't want to hear all the things that I think about with regards to the game. It's a lot of garbage. But yeah, I mean, we have started a new monthly communication program where we release a newsletter every month, for, you know, just like musings and things we're talking about and things we're looking at. So I think there's some element of that we are considering right now. Yeah. Probably nothing a major difference anytime soon. Other than the monthlies. Oh, get out of that. I gotta be more active in my positioning. I'm realizing that that's what's getting me. Is I'm just like getting complacent. I'm like, I'll leech through anything. Apparently I also turned into a 1950s reporter at the same time, but that's okay. Get back here, Spider-Man. Alright. Like that. Ow. My face. Sometimes I can, though. And that's what gets me overconfident. Alright, I know there are probably lots of different opinions on this, but are there any plans about skipping the campaign if you've done it once already? I think there's... So, there's a ton of thoughts on this. We hear feedback for and against this all the time. It's a really common topic, and I don't want to dismiss it by saying that. I think that most of the feedback that we get on it boils down to people are and you know, I could be wrong on this. I say this and people don't generally correct me when I say this, but you know, if I am, please tell me. I think the feedback that we're getting from players with regards to wanting a campaign skip is less that they want a campaign skip and more that they're not having fun with like if we're gonna look at the feedback as a like, here's the problem, here's what we're experiencing, here's when X happens I feel Y, which is the best type of feedback we can get. I think players are feeling you know, bored with the leveling process. And I think just slapping a campaign skip on the game doesn't fix that. So I'm hesitant to explore a campaign skip if the feedback is the leveling process is is boring or something like that. I think there's other ways to address that. You know, like, and it doesn't even it can be really indirect things as well. So like, what are the things? So if the leveling process is boring or not fun, or you're not enjoying the leveling process and you want to have a better leveling process, okay, so why is the leveling process not fun for you? I think is the first place you have to start looking for information. And I think it's there's lots of different reasons why that could be the case, and I think it varies from player to player, and I don't think there's like just a one single answer to that. But let's pick an example. Let's pick a hypothetical answer to that, and let's explore how we can fix that in a different way. I'm literally making this all up on the spot, so please, this is not a announcement of planned feature or anything like that. Just a thought experiment right now. So let's say, okay, maybe it's you're leveling characters too frequently. And so because you're doing it a lot and the process is too similar each time, it's not interesting. Okay, so there's two things there. There's the process is too similar and you're doing it too frequently. So maybe if we just reduce the frequency that players need to do the campaign in like per cycle or per season, sorry, excuse me. Maybe that is like maybe for some players that's just enough. Like, oh, if you're only doing it twice per season or 3 times per season instead of 6 times per season or something, maybe that process becomes more fun because you do it less frequently. hypothetical maybe. And so like then you can start looking at creative ways to do. Let's go back to, okay, here we go. Let's go back to a previous question that someone brought up that I guessed what they meant, because I think it was a typo, but I'm not sure. Which I think they were asking for mastery respecs. So let's say, as an example, you put mastery respecs in the game. Suddenly players are not like, if they wanted to get a paladin, or they start the game paladin and then like, oh, now I want a forge guard, you don't have to re-level the forge guard, and you're not going through the campaign an additional time on that season, and so you're doing the campaign fewer times, and maybe the campaign just naturally becomes more interesting because you do it less often. I don't know if that actually works. So, you know, like there's, but I think there's lots of different ways to come at the problem, and I think the important feedback is, the important thing to look at, the important place to start at the feedback is, hey, what's the, how do I feel when something happens? You know, like what's the actual issue here? And just, I want a campaign skip is like, it's valid feedback and fine. I want to explore why you want a feedback, and I want to, why you want a campaign skip, and I want to explore if there's maybe even a better way to, maybe you don't want a campaign skip. Maybe there's an underlying issue that's causing, hey, a campaign skip is the solution that you've thought of, which might be a perfectly valid one, but maybe there's another option too that's even better. That's what I'd like to explore. So if you have thoughts on why, or like what you're feeling that's causing that's maybe triggering the request for a campaign skip, I'm really interested to hear that feedback. And if I'm completely wrong and just wildly off base, I'm also interested to hear that feedback too. Mike's wrong is something I'm used to hearing. Hopefully that was a good rant.
Yes.
Come on, let me... it popped out. Yeah. Got him. Alright, regarding passive tree, I was talking about a system like D4 where you can edit however you like until it's valid. Okay, here we go. I was wrong with my assumption, but yeah, I understand what you mean. So like, where you get a system where it's like respec mode, and it's like right click to remove a point, left click to add a point, you just like make all the changes, and then it's like, okay, you've got this many changes done, accept the whole thing at once. I think that would be better. I just got to the 2 o'clock time point. That means we're half hour behind. Not great. I will try and speed up. Thanks for the warning there, Kane. Appreciate you. Hello, Mike. Nice Friday. I noticed that recently, because most defensive layers that you can build through gear protect you against hits, dot damage seems to be the biggest struggle when it comes to tankiness in the endgame. Either ailments or dots pools both seem to be the biggest source of damage we take. Is this intended? And if it is, can we expect more ways to deal with it in the future? I don't think it's like strictly intended that, hey, the scariest thing are dots, you know? But I do think it's important that there are dots that are scary. I think scary dots, especially as dot pools that can be spawned underneath the player, is a really good tool for, and it's something that people mention a lot, is the, hey, like we want some reason why it's difficult to play a ranged character, you know, like some skill element in player positioning when playing a ranged character compared to playing a melee character, because quite often you get more just naturally hit by things as a melee character, which I think can be frustrating because it can seem like it's harder to play as a melee character, and you know, in some cases it is. So I think that there's a lot of room for, I think really powerful ground dot placement things, like effects like that, is a really good way to say like, hey, ranged character, move. You know? Whereas like a giant melee slam is a better way to generally say, hey, melee character, move. And I think that I think it's good that there are really dangerous dots in the game. Do I think they always need to be the most dangerous thing? No. I think that having new defensive options that let you proactively deal with dots would be really good. I think they need some sort of like just straight up slapping an affix in that's just like, oh, less damage taken from dots, or something like that is probably not the best option. As the only thing to do if we were hypothetically trying to combat that situation. But yeah, I think adding new affixes in general is really good. I think that we are frequently hey, that's what I'm talking about right there. Okay, now we need an egg. Now we need an egg. That feels good. That feels really good. Okay, we've been weapon hunting for a few weeks now. And this is the one we're looking for. Yes. Yes. So happy we got that. It says it goes down. That's funny. I know it doesn't because of all the extra stuff, but like the reduced bonus damage taken from crits means we're gonna change our... Do we have full crit avoidance right now? We have no crit avoidance. Oh my god. Okay, well we need the rest of that then. Attack speed just took a huge hit. But the hits are way bigger. I think overall big improvement right there that just happened. Also defensively too. Thrilled on that one. Come with me. I need to heal off you in a sec. What did I just do? Oh. Just grabbed my Slack channel on the other screen and just like stretched it weird. All right. Can you tease the insane 50% buff to the 100 flat HP execute threshold on Shadow Strike, making kill enemies at a massive 150 HP instead? Yeah, I'm still not sure why that one's so low. It almost feels just like a thematic piece, not a functional piece. Okay. Hey, hello, hi there. Hey, hi, hello. Hey, how's it going? Hey there. Community's so good. Okay. I know you're working on game accessibility. Can you already speak about it? Is any high contrast mode? Oh gosh, I'm not even looking at the screen. If there'll be a high contrast mode, if it'll be customizable, oh, I bet that's outlines of objects and customizable characters, background elements, and other. I hope in these things to put my hands on the game. there's I don't have any details on specific accessibility features that are coming, but if you want to request them, head them on over to our suggestions channels. Oh man, I went the wrong thing. I want a Nemesis so bad right now. Will we get more types of environments maps? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We've got, you know, when there's things that are pretty close to being able to tease, but they're just not quite there, so you're not allowed to say anything. I really want to say something. I'm not allowed.
Impossible. Has come.
All right. Is it possible to make glyphs auto-consume on pickup? Like maybe an option for that. It is technically possible for us to auto-pick them up. We don't have any intentions to do so. If you'd like us to consider it, head on over to the suggestions channel. Alright, merch store update when? I don't know, come on. It's gotta happen soon, right? I've actually had to start giving some of my merch that I've had from like conventions and things like that. And this is gonna sound weird, but to my mom. So come on guys, I need a store so my mom can buy stuff instead of taking mine, please. I don't have that many left. There's even a few signed playmats out there from Gamescom last year. Right, more questions. When it comes to griefing from skill interactions, the original Frostwall Flame Ward node plus a friend with minions running through the Frostwall, instantly deleting all of your mana was fun. Yes, but that only hurts yourself. So you've put yourself in that situation, and we also fixed that, I think. Didn't we? I think. But yes, that was a exact perfect example of what I'm talking about being an issue. Like if you saw someone using that, you could be like, all right, I'm gonna, and you're like playing a necromancer or like a lich, you're like, oh, I'm just gonna slap the skeletons on my bar for a second and have them run through there. Ha ha ha. Alright, more questions. This is the problem, is I get caught up. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm playing, doing so good here. And then I forget to answer questions. Alright, Mike, will you play PoE 2 early access? I'm not sure yet. Depends on timing. I played it a little bit already at Gamescom and it was awesome. When it comes, alright, answer that. I disagree. Wonderful. I like disagreements. Well, I don't know. I like conversations and debates. More direct feedback to bug reports. Just a sec. I don't want to die. I'm interested to hear what you have to say. But I also want to fight this boss. And I'm going to need a couple shots at it. In my opinion, the Spirits of Fire of the three level 91s is the hardest to do the Harbinger early. As your like first Harbinger. So I like making sure you don't have to fight a Harbinger on it when you're first leveling a character. I'm gonna get to this question, I swear. You mean you most likely have any kind of database to track bug fixes anyways, right? Oh, I see what you're saying. This is on the having like an open bug reports forum, things like that. Yeah. Integrating it directly into our existing bug tracking system. It's not really an option for us. I'm sorry. Right. There's an item in the Merchant's Guild that doesn't exist in the game yet, or was it removed? What is the Heirloom of Light? I have no idea. It's probably on Last Epoch Tools then as well, and I might be able to go look it up and see if I can figure it out. But just from the name, I have no idea. There's a couple items that have been added to the game without any purpose by mistake. Maybe not by mistake, but just like they probably shouldn't have been released yet, or they got picked up in some like data scrapes and things like that. Let's find out what we're talking about. Heirloom of Light. Let's see if we can find it. I got no idea what you're talking about. Heirloom of Light is not on Last Epoch Jewels. Heirloom of Light. Okay, there's a different website that has it implicit. It's just health regen, relic. Just some health regen and health gain on kill. This is terrible, this item. I suspect this was a placeholder for an item that got started and just wasn't ready to be added into the release files yet, and just got added by mistake. Maybe it was like someone just started something and never got this. This looks like just an uncompleted item. I've never seen that before. It's not like a tease to something or a preview or something, or a puzzle to figure out or anything like that. I bet like, so I really have no idea what that item is, but if I'm gonna guess, I'd say we'll probably see it as an actual item with the same name and completely different statistics. Like just nothing's the same. It really looks like someone's just like just made the item, and it's like a copy of something, or it's just like because some default stats, or you know, like. Yeah. A little bigger of a hit than I wanted to take. Okay, more questions. Can you share stats of the ratio between COF and MG players? Might have already been done and I missed it. It has not been done. You did not miss it. I'm sorry. No, I can't. Hi. Hope you and the EHG team had a good week. We did. It was a personally difficult week, but overall, I think it was positive. For the next big patch, is there new music planned? Yeah, enjoy the soundtrack, especially the end of time music would be great to get more. Thanks. Yeah, there's always new music on the pipe. I know you're working on game accessibility. Oh, this already asked. I know you won't see this for a while, but my personal issue with the campaign, and this is not limited to Last Epoch, is that it feels like a running simulator, where the focus is on getting from point A to point B more than killing monsters, where monos do a better job of incentivizing killing monsters even while you search for the objective. That's a good point. And I think there's probably just room for, like, so what if, hypothetical, like let's I think that's a great starting point to look at this issue. And I think that having a specific thing to focus on why it's not enjoyable for you is a fantastic way to start looking at that problem, and maybe start tackling. I'm not saying I guess I should be clear. I think there's more than one way to tackle these problems, and one of those ways could be just ending a campaign skip. But there might be other ways too that might be better. Who knows? And so, like, maybe just increasing the ways you can do, like having more dungeons, having more ways for like small skips if you're ahead on experience, and things like that, and then giving enemies in the campaign a lot more experience option, like ways to get more experience, or have it be like if you're under leveled you gain experience faster even, possibly, and like having ways for more experienced players to jump through the campaign faster because you're killing things more. So like incentivizing killing things more in the campaign might be a way to help with that. Or like alternate routes through zones, and I don't know. Circling back to campaign skipping, how do you feel about one campaign run per stash except for hardcore? I assume this is like per season, because it has to be per season. I think that's an important thing, that it's kind of just got to be per season no matter what. How do I feel about one campaign run per me personally? I see, this is the problem, is I actually like having the campaign be part of the new character process. And I think that even if there was an optional skip straight to monos, I would still just do the campaign to level myself. So there's kind of the like the developer mic brain and the player mic brain, and I kind of have to reconcile between the two. So if we're asking player mic brain, which do I think I want, I don't like it, because I think I'd be incentivized to just jump into the monolith directly, which I would be like, yeah, I'd rather do the campaign because I like the campaign. But I know not everyone does. So like looking at it from a developer perspective, I kind of have to take that into account, as we all do. And I'm not sure how I feel about it otherwise. Yeah. Because there needs to be a leveling process for each character regardless, right? You into a... I'm not going to answer questions for this right now. I should have. It's a long question. I can't read that whole thing while this is happening. Oh, Mike, you should have got the question before starting this. What were you thinking? I'm sorry. I might have a shot at this. I'm right now trying to get them all kind of low, similar times. Please start this guy's last chain. Okay, here we go. Can I kill these guys on top of each other? I can. And room. No! Okay, this is bad. This is bad. I think I just have to wait. I don't think I can go in there until Reaper forms up. Oh god, it immediately fell. No. This is a problem. Or a blessing. A problem. Would you please come out here? Would you please? I really would appreciate it if you would walk out here.
You will be snuffed out. The flame is fading.
Okay. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, that's just, yeah. Perfect roll on it, too. Yeah. All right. That went better than I expected, actually. Whew. 1.2 was delayed for the upcoming ARPG landscape and an engine upgrade mostly. However, now that was upcoming ARPG landscape was also delayed partially into 2025, is it now right in the middle of your public release window for Q1 2025? Do you think you all might have jumped the gun on delaying since you all are in a similar situation as before now? Or just general thoughts on how you would handle long delay and things EHG learned / has anything changed on future delays? I don't think anything's changed necessarily for future delays at this point. I think we're gonna wait to see how it shakes out. We're still in the middle of it, so it's not much to look back on just yet. I don't regret the change we made. A lot of it had to do with changing. A lot of it also had to do with changing like what content we're targeting for the next patch, based pretty heavily on feedback we got from 1.1 on which content we should be focusing on for 1.2. So there's a bit of a pivot there as well. Yeah, we'll see. I talked more about the other parts of it earlier in the stream, so I don't want to double up on it too much because I'm a little bit behind. Mike, for campaign skip, could we have the option to start from mastery pick? I mean, we don't have any plans to do that. I think it's also not very far. I mean, like, this is part of the problem as well. Like, if you really want to start there, like, if you've got anyone that you can, like, go to the Discord, ask someone, be like, hey, someone warp me there, you know, like, and you can start at level 20 zone and it's fine. The issues with dots is how it scales the higher it goes. It currently does more damage than anything else more quickly than any big obvious boss attack on top of the higher damage. So many mobs in an echo do various dots all over and doesn't even give a chance to heal out of it. Yep, they're quite dangerous at the moment. Has there been any talks about upping the implicit move speed on boots and getting rid of what feels like a mandatory usage of movement prefix slot? Kind of feels like a tax of sorts on all normal and unique boots. Yes, we've discussed this many times. It comes up every 6 months or so as a topic for design. Heirloom of Light is an old item that is in the files but not in the game. It's been a thing for a long time, kind of like Flesh of Stone. I missed it. That's funny. I can't believe I didn't know that. Huh. It's probably not on LE Tools because he knows it's just useless. We're not doing anything with it. We should probably remove it. Unless it's like some hidden joke that I've just, or like maybe it's something I missed completely, but I don't think so. Mike, you okay? You lost so much weight? Yeah, I'm doing good. Did we find one right at the end? Okay, don't die, Mike. Don't die. Not an egg. Of course we knew it wasn't an egg. I just forgot. Eh, 1 LP, not terrible. Very nice, very nice. A lot of health on that. Alright, what are we seeing? You could also have little mini challenge dungeons too, where the enemies are a little bit harder but a little better rewards. maybe even secret places like that you can go back and farm towards the end game. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what the dungeons system is in the game, yeah. Which is, I think, the big thing there is, and this is what I was talking about earlier in the stream, is that the actual like experience of interacting with the dungeon content right now, leading up to the bosses, is not awesome because we're not doing proper procedural generation systems. It's this like pseudo generation where there's a fixed map and blockers get dropped in place to cover up certain paths, and I think people really don't like that. I think that there's a very heavy psychological cost that we pay on that style of procedural generation that I do not understand. Like not in a sense of like, I don't understand how that could be a thing. Like I get that it's a problem for people. I just don't I don't understand the phenomena well enough to fix it directly, without just fixing the actual procedural generation to be more similar to what you'd expect in a game like this, which I think is the plan. We're more interested in just having better procedural generation content in the future. It's just real tricky thing to get right, and I think jumping the gun on that could be problematic. So we got to make sure it's real solid. That is a big focus for us in general, is just getting the quality of all the new features that come out up, just making it so that it's like, hey, something new came out and it works great. Got time for one or two more here. There's a few items like that. These were the stats for Heirloom of Light. I don't ask how I know. Heirloom of Light, when you cast the spell while facing east, you have 20% chance to cast Radiant Nova. Radiant Nova is a fire spell. Its damage scales with your attunement. You have a 1% increased spell damage per level if you have cast Radiant Nova recently. Recently refers to the last 4 seconds. It's not a terrible item. Maybe I'll make it. Huh? You're a good man. Thank you. I appreciate that. I tried to be. And yeah, I think this is, so there's people talking in chat right now about the time it takes to get to monoliths, and it is pretty wildly variable how long that number is for a lot of people. Like, I bet a lot of players are sitting there going, and someone says like, oh, it's 2 hours to monoliths for me, which I believe for some people that is doable. But I bet there's also players that are looking at that number going, yeah, right. And it's probably frustrating to look at a new character and say, hey, that's going to take me 10 hours to get it to like a playable state in the end game. And like, hey, I just want to try a new build. And you're like, hey, what if that build's not as strong as my current one? And you're like, do I just burn that time? You know, so it's, I can appreciate that there's some strong feelings on this matter. Okay. Any last second questions? We're running out of time. We're almost done here. Gonna finish this echo, and then we'll be done. Oh, this is a really good stream. I had a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying this build. This character is, and I say this like every time, I don't think it's been a long time since I played a character on stream that I didn't have a lot of fun with. It's a great sign. But at the same time, I kind of want one of my stream builds to be less fun so that I can try and find a way to make it more fun. But here I'm just like, nah, this is fun.
That is too much. Worthless anyway.
Of all the problems to have. Oh, a bunch of flood right at the end. All right, let's see if we can hammer through these. When did you start at LE, join the company? Did you envision it where it is at today, or did you see LE at a different state? I definitely always dreamed of us being where we are now, but I never expected it, I think. You know, that they'll like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if? And yeah, I think this is pretty incredible. All right. Any discussion of removing base monoliths? Love the campaign. Hate the middle part. Not really, no. I'm not sure how you'd remove it at this point. Like apart from just being like, all right, level cap 60 now, you know? Yeah. What's your favorite class build? My favorite is Falconer. I love Falconer. It is Falconer's my favorite. Since you didn't say yay or nay on the move speed boots affix situation, I assume it's not changing anytime soon. Probably not. I'd be pretty surprised. I can't say yes or no because I just don't know, but like I'd be surprised. I'm surprised a lot though, so who knows, you know? All right, do you want to take over the subathon for me? I'm tired now. Day 43, most impressive. I won't take over, but I might help you out a little bit here. How about you start playing the build of the month in Eterra's monthly every month? That'd be cool. The problem is that I only play like the account that I play on live with. It doesn't have like there's not a lot of stuff. Like we look at my character list and it's just this character. Because I play on the dev servers off like during the week. So I don't have time to like build up characters. I guess I could play in the normal servers, but like I gotta test new features, right? So it's tricky to get characters up to a point where I'm actually doing stuff that's like remotely fun and interesting to engage with me actually playing at all. I know people aren't really here to watch me play. They're here to answer questions and stuff like that. But you know, I like to be doing more end game stuff when I'm here if I can. So happy I found this item. Oh my god, so huge, so huge. All right, thanks for your hard work, Mike. Have a great weekend. Thanks, you too. And on that note, it's time to end. I had fun. I hope you did too. I hope you had fun. I know I did. That's how I say it. I'll be back same time, same place next week. And we will be answering more cool questions. We are looking to get more guests on. So if you have any people that you know that you'd like to, or departments you'd like to see as guests, drop it into the Ask the Devs channel on Discord. If I did miss your question, please go ask it again there. I'll be happy to answer it. How we doing? How we doing? Okay, let's do this. Let's go check it out. Aaron has been streaming Subathon for 43 days now, which is incredible. I wish you all the best stamina, Aaron, and I'm impressed. I don't think I could do it. Hope you're having fun still. We'll see you next week.